London, England, October 14, Justin Coleman. Photo by Dan Istitene, Getty Images. The Seattle Seahawks worked hard to retain DJ. Fluker, Clark and K.J. Wright in free agency, but the team had to say goodbye to several other players as a result. The team does not have the financial freedom of some other organizations. Not only will Seattle have to pay Clark as soon as possible, but the team will also need to negotiate new deals for Bobby Wagner, Jarran Reed, and Russell Wilson next offseason. That puts the organization in a future cap crunch and made it so the team had to let a few key contributors walk. So far, 6 former Seahawks have signed with new teams in free agency. Of that group, 3 were starters and 1 moved in and out of a starting role throughout the year. How many of these players would the Seahawks have kept if they had the proper cap space? It's hard to say. Realistically, some of these partings were for reasons that weren't entirely financial. Some players just wanted to go to teams where they felt they had greater chances of receiving playing time. If we break down the players who have left the team and signed with new organizations, we see that 3 offensive and 3 defensive players have departed. The difference comes when we look at the starters. 2 of the starters who left were on defense, along with occasional starting cornerback Justin Coleman, are now gone. The Seahawks' defense has already been battered by injuries since the end of the Legion of Boom era. If these losses are going to have any impact, they'll be on that side of the ball. Page 2 Seattle, December 30, Mike Davis. Photo by Otto Gruel Jr., Getty Images. The backup quarterback didn't see any action in 2018 thanks to Russell Wilson's good health. Hundley is replicable considering his inability to catch on with the Packers who drafted him back in 2015. In 15 career appearances, Hundley has made 9 starts and has thrown for 1,853 yards, 9 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. The former Packer and Seahawk signed a 1-year deal worth $1.875 million with the Arizona Cardinals. Hundley is currently second on the Cardinals' quarterback depth chart, only behind Josh Rosen. That could change depending on who the Cardinals select in the upcoming draft. More from NFL Spin Zone. The Seahawks and the Cardinals swapped guards. Seattle signed Mike Iupati to replace Sweezy, who signed a 2-year deal with Arizona after helping Seattle be the best rushing team in the NFL last season. The Seahawks were adamant about wanting to hold on to fellow guard DJ. Fluker, but the team apparently felt comfortable with letting Sweezy walk. Sweezy was originally drafted by the Seahawks in the 7th round of the 2012 NFL Draft. He spent his first 4 seasons with Seattle and started the majority of the games in 3 of those seasons. Sweezy spent 2016 and 2017 in Tampa before returning to Seattle for this recent 1-year stint. His ability to maul defenders helped the Seahawks establish the run game, but he left something to be desired with his pass protection. Mike Davis backed up Chris Carson in 2018 and had his best season. Davis filled in when Carson was injured and finished second on the team in rushing, despite the arrival of first-round selection Rashad Penny. Davis cashed in on his breakout season and signed a 2-year deal with the Chicago Bears. If Davis spends both of those seasons with the Bears, he will earn $6 million. While with the Seahawks, Davis carried the ball 112 times for 514 yards and 4 touchdowns. He'll now be moving into a running back room that is full of uncertainty. Speculation about the Bears trading starting running back Jordan Howard has been spreading recently. If Howard is not in the picture for the Bears in 2019, Davis would be the second running back on the depth chart behind Tariq Cohen. Page 3 GLENDALE, as September 30th, defensive back Earl Thomas. Photo by Norm Hall, Getty Images. Earl Thomas is finally out of Seattle after a chaotic final season with the team that drafted him back in 2010. The future Hall of Fame safety held out prior to the 2018 season because he was seeking a new deal that would pay him the money he deserved. Thomas didn't get the deal, but reported to the Seahawks anyway. In the first 3 games of the season, he recorded 3 interceptions and looked like he was on track for yet another All-Pro season. Then, Thomas fractured his leg in Week 4. The conflicts he had with the front office and the injury ended his career as a Seahawk. Thomas signed a 4-year deal worth $55 million with the Baltimore Ravens. The contract promises Thomas the most guaranteed money of any safety in the league, $32 million. The deal is also the second most lucrative in terms of total value, only trailing Landon Collins' 6-year, $84 million mega deal. However, Thomas is not the highest paid safety in terms of money per year, a title that he should have based on his past successes. If not for the leg injury, he would likely have claimed the largest contract in terms of money per year in history. Justin Coleman has been one of the best slot cornerbacks in the NFL over the past couple of seasons. Because of his success, his price tag rose out of the range the Seahawks were willing to pay. Coleman cashed in on his rising star and signed a 4-year deal worth $36 million with the Detroit Lions. While that isn't a large deal for a traditional star cornerback, that's a massive contract for a slot corner. Coleman has tied to current Lions head coach Matt Patricia. Patricia was the defensive coordinator for the Patriots when Coleman was with the team in 2015 and 2016. It will be interesting to see how Patricia utilizes Coleman in his defensive scheme. Coleman recorded 97 combined tackles, 2 sacks, 19 passes defensed, 3 interceptions, and 2 defensive touchdowns during his 2-year stint in Seattle. Shamar Stevens' Seahawks tried to hold on to Steven but were ultimately unable to. Steven signed a 3-year, $12.45 million with the Minnesota Vikings. Prior to spending 2018 with the Seahawks, Steven had spent the first 4 years of his career with the Vikings. Minnesota actually took Steven in the 7th round of the 2014 NFL Draft. Next, 2019 NFL Mock Draft, post-free agency first wave. It seems that, with Sheldon Richardson leaving for Cleveland, the Vikings wanted to shore up their defensive line. Steven has never been the most dominating presence along the line. He only recorded 25 combined tackles and 2 sacks in 14 starts with the Seahawks in 2018, but he can be a strong role player when surrounded by other talents.